What's going on, everybody? We're at Trivela, our episode 5 today. Honestly, did not think we would make it this far, but I'll take it. I'll take it. Today, actually, out of kind of some last second emergency type situation, Steezy and Vedant won't be joining us, but that's okay because I was able to secure a pretty special guest from the server. Jorge is going to be joining us. What's up, Jorge? How are you doing, man?
All good, man. How about you? Thank you for inviting me.
Yeah, doing really good, doing really good. Wanted to get you on because I feel like you have some nice insights, and then also you have like interest in like a lot of the other sports that I have interest in. So I feel like this
Yep.
will be a good conversation for sure. But like really quickly, just to intro yourself, like how long have you been following Real Madrid? When did you join the Real Madrid server? And then how long have you been following football as a whole?
Um, I've been following Real Madrid since I was like, I think 10, 11 years old on 2005 or 2004. And that's how long I've been following like football in a like on a serious way. I started earlier than that. I was just like playing football with my friends and shit, but I wasn't watching on the TV. And I remember I read a book about football history, and how I got hooked. And it started from there, made it, and now it's been 17 years following Real Madrid and watching football and being a football sicko.
Yeah, wow, that's a long time. That's long. That's definitely longer than me. Uh, Really quickly, like if you had to off the top of your head, like favorite moment in football.
Ah, I think I'm going to tell you first. My first like moment I won't forget is Zidane's goodbye in 2006 and a Fabio Grosso goal against Germany on the World Cup semifinals.
Okay.
Will never forget those moments. And after that, I don't know, man. Like the Decima, the champions, and shit. I won't forget those. So yeah, like La Liga in 2007 that we won on the last game at two.
Hmm.
That was a good one. Yeah, I remember Mexico games like against the United States. Some big L's, some big W's. So yeah, I don't know, man. But like my first and football memory that I always come to, people ask me like, what was your first like football moment that got you hooked on forever? Is definitely the Fabio Grosso goal against Germany in the semifinals. That was pretty special. Not gonna lie.
Yeah, that's some good context. So like, unlike a lot of you in the server, Jorge has actually been following football for like over 3 years. So a lot of the stuff that you just said, like people are just going to be like, "Oh, this is what
What
the
the
fuck is
fuck is
that?"
that? Yeah.
But yeah, this is why we wanted to get him on. We have a list of topics today, but I want to talk about the stuff that I feel like Jorge knows a lot about. Like he knows a lot about a lot of stuff, but I want to talk about first off Mexico versus USA, bro. How are you feeling about the rivalry going forward? Are you worried at all about the crop of players USA has been able to draw up? Like this is supposedly golden generation. I don't know how much I agree with that, but whatever. What do you think about that going forward, and how are you looking at the rivalry at the moment?
I think it's good that the USA has good players. It's good for the rivalry. I fucking hate it, not gonna lie. Because, like, you see a fucking American that's 18 years old, 19 years old, playing on a fucking Norwegian club and gets like 10 goals a season and goes to fucking, I don't know, Brighton or Sunderland or some shit and they start playing all right and they go to another club that's better than that and they start playing good. So, you guys are definitely dropping some good players. I worry a lot about Mexico because right now we're so shit. That is so shit. Supposedly leaked list of players that's going to a World Cup is fucking garbage. Um, I hope that. I mean, the future looks okay. I guess the future looks bright. The problem is that we put it in context the socio-political scenario of the world and the relationship between Mexico and the United States. A lot of good players that come out of the United States are Mexican American, and the real rivalry is with which players are gonna play with which country. A lot of those choose Mexico because, I mean, see, if Stacey was here, he would tell you that he probably feels more connected to Mexico than to the United States because of the way he was born, because the way of Mexican culture that it's so different to the American. It makes you feel much more attached to your country, even though you never visited or you don't know shit about Mexico, but because of your family, you do. And I feel that a lot of players feel that, and some players feel that they're way more American. So I think that's where the real rivalry begins. If all these crop of players that come out from the United States, that they're like 18, 19, they start to become good, it, who are they gonna play with? The federations have to convince them, and I've been hearing podcasts, I've been hearing interviews when they do to these players, and it's pretty interesting to see their insight because like they talk about culture, they talk about, for example, David Ochoa. I think he plays for Real Salt Lake or some shit. He says that he started to play with the United States. He was being called up to the United States team, but he decided to play for Mexico because he felt like he was more connected to Mexico, and that he also received racist insults from some of his teammates on his club, not on the national team, on his club. And he says, "What the fuck, man? I mean, I'm as American as you are. You're calling me like beaner or some shit. I don't know what they told him." So that's where the real rivalry begins on recruiting these young players with two nationalities.
Yeah, I think those are really good points. First off, I think the really fucked up part about this is that, so like as you mentioned, the US team is filled with like, immigrants from Mexico, people who are born here with Mexican parents, like et cetera, right? And like
Yep.
you see them playing, the US men's team will be playing in Cincinnati, and you just like think like, would these like white people in the stands like be cheering for these guys if they had the Mexican shirt on? And the answer is no, bro. Like, so
Yeah.
there's definitely like a lot of fucked up shit there, and I
Yep.
think it definitely rubs a lot of the players that are born here the wrong way because of like the treatment that they receive going through the ranks. Um,
Yep.
the other part of it is that I think unlike a lot of countries, actually, I'm not honestly too familiar with Mexico's youth system, but in America, you have to pay to play, right? So that segments off like
Oh yeah. Yeah, I
lower
forgot to say
income
that. Yeah, you're right.
lower income households as a whole are it's harder to access like good coaching, quality development, etc.
I think
Um,
Zlatan said it right that when you're young and you want to start playing football in the United States, it's hell expensive. I think he said something like that once when he was playing on the LA Galaxy.
yeah, yeah. A lot of players who come from Europe are pretty shocked about the academy like set up in the United States. I knew a guy. He's not good enough anymore, but he played for my local academy, so Minnesota United's academy, from the
Uh-huh.
time he was like 9, I think, until 14.
Nice.
And he said he spent his family spent like $70,000 in that time frame. So like, you
What?
know, it's insane. Like on like everything included, but still,
The
that's so
fuck are
much
they
money.
doing to them, man? On the fucking academies that they charge you that much money.
Yeah,
What the
yeah.
fuck are they teaching them?
Yeah, man. And then it's hilarious because then like, some like random guy from like some other country will just come here, Europe, South America, wherever, and just completely like torch all of them. But and that
Yeah.
person will have never spent $1 in their life on development. But yeah, it is what
Yeah,
it
you're
is, I
right.
guess. But yeah, I think going forward, that is like the point that you made is going to be the real battle is convincing these players. And I think it's been a mixed bag. The one case that I really remember from a U.S. perspective is Jonathan Gonzalez, I think is his name.
Yeah. He's fucking trash now.
Yeah, he plays for Minnesota United, funny enough, but
Really? I think he was playing for Atlanta now.
no, or he might have been transferred, but he definitely came to Minnesota at some point. But that was like
Oh,
the
nice.
first case where I was like, because at the time he was 17, 18, he was one of the most hyped prospects in CONCACAF. Like he was such a good player at
Yeah, I
that
remember
age,
that.
and
Yeah,
he chose Mexico over the United States, and I
Mexico.
think
Yep.
rightfully so. But yeah, it is what it is. Um,
Yeah, he
but
went to
yeah,
shit.
yeah, he went to shit later on, so not the biggest loss, but that's a memorable one. But yeah,
Yeah,
I think it's good. Like I think Canada is also improving, so hopefully CONCACAF can get a little bit
yeah,
better here over the
true.
next 10, 15 years.
Canada.
But let's see.
I think
Um,
that Jamaica has a shot of being good because due to the new rule, the like one-time switch nationality rule that FIFA has, some England players, if they have been called for England and they want to play for Jamaica, they can make the one-time switch and start playing for Jamaica. So I don't know, man. Jamaica could get decent too. So let's see what the future holds.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. I mean, a lot of those island countries are do have like a good presence in the U.S. as well. So like maybe they can take some of those prospects and put
Oh
them on
yeah,
their team.
that's true.
So
That's true.
let's see.
Yeah.
Let's see how it goes. I think it's exciting going forward. I think finally the tide is starting to turn a little bit. Like I'm not a delusional dude who's gonna be like, yeah, man, we're ready to compete with Spain like year on year. That's just not there. But like I think it's definitely better than it was 10 years ago, and that's what you can look at and be really
Yep,
happy about.
that's true. That's
So,
true.
anyways, moving
More
on,
players to
we
move.
we had some matches to cover. I like since the last time we did it, we won a Clasico, beat Elche, and then today we just beat Sevilla. So, I guess the fresh thoughts. I think we should just start off with Sevilla.
Yep.
What like I think the main storyline going into this game was that Benzema was out, and for the last 3 years, that's basically been a death sentence for Real Madrid. What are your
Yep.
thoughts about us kind of getting off of that dependence? I mean, obviously Benzema improves the side, but like, how happy are you to see that we can actually get results against pretty decent sides without Benzema this year?
I think it's due because the young players are getting better. Like Fede is crazy good right now. Insane. I was talking with a friend yesterday. He's a huge Liverpool fan and Real Madrid fan as well. And I told him, dude, Fede is better than Gerard was at his age and probably ever. And he was like, yeah, I don't know, man. Like he's good and I see the similarities, but I don't know. Dude, you're gonna see. It, this dude has scored banger after banger after banger. His pace is crazy. If he's out of the game. The team feels it immediately because of his rhythm. He's I don't know how to say it, potence. Yeah, aggressiveness, and like Bini, Rodrigo, Fede, and but Chouameni was good the first half. The second one he was kind of trash. That was he got subbed. But those three, man, Bini, Rodrigo, and Fede are. I don't think that our fans can actually understand how crazy good they are right now. So it's because of that. It's because those three guys got hella better in the last year and this year. What are your thoughts about it?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like recently in our server, Florentino Perez has turned into this like mythical
God,
figure, and
yeah,
I think it's honestly this guy can't miss. Like these
yeah.
guys, he bets so heavily on them. I mean, think about the money between Rodrigo, Vinicius, and Tchouaméni, who I think he bought. Tchouaméni was like 22 when he came here, but like he bought Vinny and
He's
Rodrigo
20.
at like
Chouameni is 21. If I recall correctly, he's 21.
21. Yeah. So all of these dudes were bought
It's crazy.
before 21. Vinny and
It's
Rodrigo were
crazy.
bought at like 18, 19. It's
Yeah,
the bets that he made. Our scouting department has to be the best in the world. Like I don't
yep,
like
I agree.
it's insane, and I'm really happy to see their growth. At one point, it didn't really look too promising, but hey, you just
Yep,
have to stay the course.
true.
That's what I learned is like you have to like continue to support the players, continue to look for the growth, and it'll come
Trust the
hopefully.
process.
Yeah, exactly. Trust the process. 76ers fans are like cringing right now, but but that's a
There
different
are no
story.
such thing as that. Those fucking dudes are fucking crazy.
Yeah, yeah. But I don't know. I think like they've really developed a lot, and yeah, it's reduced the dependency on the old guard quite a bit this season. I think your
Yep.
point about Fede Valverde is like really strong. I don't even know like what the comparison is. Like I think the only other midfielder that I've watched in my lifetime put up goals at this rate is like Lampard maybe. Like Lampard used to have some seasons where he would
Mhm.
score like 20 goals from
Yep.
midfield.
Yep.
Um, but it's like if you like merged Lampard and like Conte, like Conte's work rate, like it's actually fucking insane. Like what this guy
Yeah.
can be. So,
That's a good comparison as well. Yeah.
so yeah, absolutely
I
incredible.
think I used to, I mean, I don't consider myself a Liverpool fan or any other European club that isn't Real Madrid a fan, but I used to like Liverpool a lot and I watched Steven Gerrard and Lampard a lot when I was young. And like when I see Fede hit those fucking bangers and run all over the pitch, the passes he makes, like his ability with the ball on his feet, I just think I'm seeing Gerrard with more pace, better defender, and a better attacker. I'm seeing Gerrard, but better. Like Stevie G is family dollar Fede to me at this point. Like that. I'm saying it. Fuck it.
Okay, yeah.
Valverde is already better than Gerrard.
Let's fuck it,
Stevie
man.
G. Stevie
Honestly,
G. Yep.
like there's certain things about Fede's movement too, which are just like so much different than those two because I feel as if he's a lot more fluid. Like sometimes when I watch him play, uh, like I get kind of like on that right flank, I get kind of like Bale type vibes with the way he can like flick the ball, dribble, like take
Yeah.
on players. That's not stuff that
Yep.
Lampard or Gerrard could do. Like they could,
Yep.
like I'm not trying to cut them short, but it wasn't nearly as
Oh.
fluid. Like Fede can almost work as a winger, like it's insane.
Yeah. Yeah, because they
Um,
were kind of, I mean, not slow, but they went fast. They were like more anchored to the central part of the pitch. They were midfielders. Lampard could play cam. MC Gerrard sometimes was a defensive mid. He was used to play like more on the right side of the pitch. I think he started as a right back. So I don't know, man. There's a lot of similarities with Fede. So
yeah.
that's crazy. Like, and we and Gerrard was and Lampard were always like rumored to play in Real Madrid because of how good they were, and it never came to fruition. And now I don't know, when we got our own mix of Lampard and Gerrard, and he cost like 2 bags of fucking, I mean, hot Cheetos. I don't know how much he cost.
Yeah. He caught Fede was a very cheap transfer. I think it was like below 5 million euros, like maybe even
Yeah,
below
that's
three.
fucking crazy. That's
Um,
crazy.
so yeah, really happy about that. I think moving forward, the other talking point I had from the Sevilla match is Marco Rudiger, Lucas
Oh
Vasquez,
shit.
the
Yeah.
impact substitution. They completely changed the game. I mean, like up till that point, Sevilla were actually controlling the game pretty well, like in the second half,
Yeah.
and then it just completely flipped on its head, and yeah, it results in two goals from us. And I think after those two goals, Sevilla just wanted to go back home. Like they didn't even try to like attack after that. What are your
Yep.
thoughts on? I guess the first question here is Carlos' tactics. Like he again gets the subs right. Second part of it is how hard should we be trying to keep players like Marco Ceballos, Lucas Vasquez, who are their contracts expiring in the next year or two, Nacho as well. How hard should we be trying to keep those guys long term because they really are like perfect squad rotational type
Yep.
players.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty important, but I don't know how real is it to keep all of them. I think we can keep like Lucas and Nacho, but I don't know about Ceballos and Asensio because it sucks because Ceballos is really good and he's going to miss the World Cup. And Asensio, I think he's going to make the roster, but I think he wants to start on another team. Same for Ceballos, so it is pretty important, but I don't see it happening to keep all of them. I think Lucas and Nacho will retire as Real Madrid players, hopefully, but I don't see Asensio and Ceballos staying, and I think they all are important to the squad. How about you?
Yeah, I think that I kind of agree. Like to give people some more context and just think about it like in this way, Isco basically did not play for us last year, and he has gone to Sevilla. Sevilla has been struggling, to be fair, but like they're usually a top five, top six club in Spain. They are. Isco is basically starting like every game for them. So that's the level of like Real Madrid substitutes, is that they can go to like
Yep.
almost any other team in Spain besides maybe
And
uh,
start.
Barcelona or like Atletico. Like outside of those two clubs, they can go start pretty much anywhere. Even for I
Yeah, I
would say
agree.
even for Atleti, like Marco would have a decent shot at winning a starting job there.
Oh yeah,
So
100%. Yep.
uh, so like that's the difference in quality. That's how much quality is in our team. So it's hard to keep these guys around. I would love for them to stay if they're willing to accept this role. I also do think that going forward, once Modric, Kroos, Benzema retire, um, there might be more minutes for those guys. But like again, it's a tough ask to ask someone like, hey, wait until you're 30 before you can start starting like 10 games a season. You know, like that's
Yeah, like yeah, sacrifice your career and be a squad, a bench guy here and play 20 minutes, 10 minutes a game every two games. Like, I mean, if they say no, like, you gotta understand why. But some people are like, yeah, fuck them, they're fake Madridistas, and you're like, no, motherfucker, he wanna play football. He wants to play football. Like, yeah, a real fucking person understand why they wanna go. But I don't know. Some people are just fucking stupid.
yeah, yeah. I think like going the only thing that kind of pissed me off was the Marco like Barcelona quote, but like
Oh yeah. Oh yeah,
um,
yeah. I agree.
since then, honestly, he's put up like some really good performances for us. So like, as long as he keeps doing that, whatever, man. Like, I hope he doesn't go to a Barca, but like, he's been playing really well this season. I think that's like
Yeah,
another
he's
note I
nice.
had from this game is his technical ability is just like otherworldly. Like,
Yeah.
get if he was like 20-25% more athletic, I think he would be like a world class footballer. Like, that's how good his technical ability is. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah,
I agree.
he's been playing really well. The next thing I wanted to cover was now this is Benzema's like second or third injury this season. Are you concerned at all about given his age, given the load that he's had the last few years? Are you and the World Cup this year? How concerned are you about his injuries so far?
I'm gonna be honest. Zero. Because I think he's obviously keeping himself healthy for the World Cup, and I don't give a shit about it because the World Cup is every 4 years. He missed the last one because of some bullshit, and I don't. I saw a shit ton of tweets, and I didn't get into much talk and football talk today and much spoilers because sometimes when there's a game or a preview to the game, I read the dumbest shit and I get angry, and so I that's why I didn't go in there. I'm sorry guys, I love you all, but some of you are fucking dumb. Um, and I don't know, man. It's just a lot of people cheating on Benzema because he wants to keep himself healthy for a World Cup, and I'm like, dude, he hasn't been to a World Cup. This is going to be his second World Cup.
Hmm.
He missed the 2010 one, he missed the 2018 one, and he's at the best level of his career. He's a current Ballon d'Or. I mean, wouldn't you do the same? Like,
Yeah,
isn't it stupid?
I think blaming him for preserving his body or like trying to get to that World Cup at full health is really just counterproductive because it's it's like I don't know we've seen this like every star player does this, right? Like before the World
Yep,
Cup they're gonna take it easy. So like all the other star players in the world that are going to the World Cup are pretty much doing the same thing right now. um
exactly.
I mean, CR7 is taking that so seriously that he doesn't even play anymore. But uh
Uh,
that's gonna upset some people in the
shit.
server. But
Yeah.
he's heading home. He's taking his precaution so seriously that he's heading home before the match even ends. Like, so would you rather have that or Benzema? I don't know.
Dude, let's
But
talk about that for a second. I mean, obviously, when I said Karim made Cristiano Ronaldo, I'm kind of trolling, kind of, because since this dude, I mean, in the way he left Real Madrid was so shady and so egotistical, but since this dude left Real Madrid, I can say he has been shit because he hasn't been shit, but tears started to catch up to him the moment he stepped foot out of the Bernabeu. And I mean, if there's a sound of water, there's gonna be a river nearby. So he left Real Madrid, and then you sketch that to him. So make up your own conclusions, motherfuckers. That's all I'm
Yeah.
gonna say.
I mean, I think almost even like the CR7 stands have to understand that, like, or they would probably admit that leaving Madrid was like the wrong choice, right? Because Juve, he actually did play really well for Juve. I felt like those
Yeah,
first two
the first
seasons.
season.
Um,
I agree.
he was very good, and if he was contributing that, like in 1920, like 1819, I think we were gonna not win trophies regardless of CR7 being there or not. Like I don't think he would have saved that season. But in
Yeah,
1920, the team had kind of like transformed a bit. Like Zizou was playing some interesting stuff, and I think CR7 on that type of team could have really made an impact. I think he could have really made an impact in the 2021 season as well. Um, it just made sense for him to stay here, and he left because the money, obviously, and maybe like trying something new. But like
yep.
he made the wrong choice for his career. Like we were offering, I think I rumored like 5-6 million euros net less a year, but his image at Real Madrid would have been much larger. It was his ego that like told him like, "Hey, I'm the guy. If I go to Juve and play for like shithouse Allegri tactics, like it doesn't matter. I'm gonna take that team to like the next level, you know." But that's just not the case, man.
Nope.
Football is a team game, and it's a lot harder going from, it makes life a lot harder going from Modric and Kroos to like Rabiot and like I don't even fucking know who else. Like was
Rabiot. Who was there also?
Artur? Artur
On
was there, right?
Arthur. I think his last year there he probably was there. But yeah, Rabiot, Pogba. I mean, I know Pogba just they signed him this year, so yeah, dude. I mean, their midfield was fucking shit.
Aaron Ramsey was there
And
too.
oh shit, yeah, I remember. Yeah, I forgot. I mean, he had. I mean, they started to get better when they signed Chiesa because Chiesa is a baller. And his last season as Juve, of Cristiano's season at Juve, his last season there, Chiesa was by a mile the best player there, by a
Mhm.
mile.
Yeah, yeah,
And well, it is what it is. It is what it is.
yeah. But bringing it back to Benzema here, like I think,
Yep. Sorry.
uh, yeah, no. I think it was very important that like me and you talk about CR7 because I feel like we're like the two people that put down the fanboys in the server. Like
Yep.
whenever
Yeah.
there's a CR7 quote, like Jorge just appears somehow and just like starts shitting on him. Uh, but yeah,
I
no.
get a notification.
What's his I like what was the funniest thing? I forgot if it was me or you, but like someone typed in NCR7, so no consent Ronaldo. NCR7,
It
bro.
wasn't me. I forgot who it was, but yeah, someone said it. It's funny because like of how many times I've cheated him. Like I know Lemur is his biggest fan, and all of a sudden I get a mention from Lemur saying, "Look what Romalmo is doing," and I'm like, it fucking cracks me up because I know that he's his stand. And just to laugh, he quotes me saying, "Look what Malmo man has done today." You know, like what the fuck? I don't know. It makes me laugh.
It is
So
funny.
thank you, Lemur, for that.
But yeah, Benzema talk, like I think he's gonna be just fine. Also, like for the people who are like, I think a lot of this Benzema, like, oh, he's preserving himself talk comes from watching Lewa Disney score like four past fucking Elche or some shit. Dude, nobody cares about that.
Yeah,
Like people are like,
yeah,
oh,
nobody
Benzema
cares.
needs to win like the Ballon d'Or. I'm telling you, if he goes scores in like 5 goals at the World Cup, reaches a semifinal, and then goes and wins the Champions League, he's gonna have a much better case than Lewa Disney scoring against like I don't even fucking know, like Ibiza in the Conference League, like
Ah,
nobody cares about that shit. It's okay. Like,
yeah,
uh,
people get worked up about individual words like Pichichi and best goalkeeper and best young player and shit. I'm like, dude, I mean those count, but isn't that important? You know, don't waste energy on that shit. It
yeah,
only hurts yourself. So chill.
it's like you can't even really control it. I mean, I've seen many times where, I mean, maybe not in the CR7 Messi era because those guys were putting up great numbers regardless, but like before that, it's a narrative based award, man. Like it, the individual numbers don't matter nearly as much as people are putting it up to. And then also, like you said, the award means a lot less than actually winning games. And I feel really good about how Benzema can improves his team and puts us in a winning situation. Like he's a team first guy. So Whether he wins the next Ballon d'Or or not is much less relevant than his long-term health and us winning trophies. So that, I think,
Yeah,
yeah,
I agree.
that's what matters. Transitioning now, we also had matches versus Elche and Barcelona. I think, well, let's start with the Barcelona match, just some general talking points. I think the first
Hmm.
thing we need to bring up is Toni Kroos. I think this has been one of his best starts to a season like ever. I've been
Oh yeah.
following him ever since he was pretty much broke through at Bayern and just as good as
Yep.
I've ever seen him. How do you think this is the best he's ever been? And what do you think like his chances are at winning one of those like really good awards? But given that he has more of a like a I don't want to say boring because I appreciate it as a footy fan, but like more of a
Yeah, no,
boring
not
play
boring.
style.
Not at
Yeah.
all. I don't see it as boring. I see it as 80. It's pretty. I mean, it's if you know ball, I'm gonna sound so pretentious say this shit, but I don't care. If you know ball, you can appreciate players like him because the game goes around him. It revolves around him. I went to like I was being pleased. I went to the Real Madrid Juve game at the Rose Bowl this summer, and I mean when you go to games, you can appreciate shit you don't see on TV. And I was really impressed at how like at, when Modric has the ball, he controls the game until the play ends, and when Tony has the ball, he controls the game until the play ends. Like when two of them start the play, they can finish it, and I thought that was really impressive because they both have. I mean, Tuka is more fast. He has a better technique. But when Tony has the ball, you can see the team is. I I, I don't want to say calmer, but you can see like tempo is more balanced. You can see that the tempo is like a good slow ballad, and that's pretty. That's all I gotta say about him. He's fucking amazing.
Yeah. I think the way he directs play, and that's a very general term. So let me break that down a little bit more. Let's just imagine there's he's somewhere positioned on the left flank, like playing back by the center halves, and Carvajal is open on the right flank. A lot of players can make that pass. Modric can make that pass. Like other guys like Busquets, Rodri can all make that pass pretty well. But the thing that differentiates Kroos is his ability to get the ball places quickly to continue the pressure on the other
Yeah,
team. The
I agree.
his ability to switch. He can play a low driven cross like 80 meters and it will reach the target
Yeah,
on time. And
yep.
that way the difference is a lot of other players they have to lob that pass and it takes longer to
Yeah.
get to the person. And that's like one big thing that I've seen from Kroos that basically nobody else in football can do. I think Modric can do it at times, but he's not as consistent. KDB is like maybe one other guy that I've seen be able to do that. But again, it's like almost a different position there. He basically plays
Yeah,
like,
I think KDB can be compared more to like his tempo to Modric.
yeah, yeah.
They're more fast, they're more direct. Tony's more like more calm, relaxed.
It's just the speed at which he gets open players the ball. Just note, like next time
Yep.
you guys watch a game, no, focus on that. Like whenever he has the ball, and then how fast it gets there compared to the other teams like playmaker. Like today it was like
Yeah.
Rakitic. Rakitic was so many balloon balls, and he's a really good midfielder. Like that's one of the better mids I think in La Liga. Like at what he does. So yeah, Cruz is just amazing, phenomenal player. I really do hope that if we if we have a compelling case this year that he does get shouts for Ballon d'Or because like he's really playing at that
Yeah.
level. Like he's one of the
Yeah.
best.
And also, other thing I want to say about him, he knows where everyone is on the pitch, and that's what differentiates him from the rest.
Yeah, yeah.
That's what makes him so good. He knows where everyone is on the pitch, and that's I think the top. If any of you fucking bricks have played football like 20 minutes in your life, you're gonna know how hard that is. He
Yeah,
always know where everyone is on the pitch.
yeah, yeah. It's truly like just it's we're never gonna see a guy like Cruz again, basically.
Yep, I agree.
So moving forward in that match, I think the other really cool thing that I kind of was not expecting is we did phenomenal against Barcelona's attack. I think that's the one part of their
Yep,
team which has been extremely consistent. Like
Yep.
throughout Xavi's tenure, is they put a lot of pressure on your back line, and it's not always the prettiest play, but they spam crosses. Dembele, Rafinha like do their one brain cell dribbling and somehow get something.
Mm,
Um, they find ways to break you down, but we did phenomenal. Carvajal, Mondi were absolute anchors on their two flanks. Rafinha and Dembele had almost nothing going for them the entire game. And then Militao and Alaba did a number on Lewandowski. Like Lewandowski had a few
yeah.
chances, but against a striker of that
Militao.
caliber, like
Yeah.
he was pretty much shut down, like given his standard. What are your
Dude, what are
thoughts on
your
that?
thoughts about? Oh, sorry. Can I ask you first?
Yeah, sure, sure.
What are your thoughts on like people saying Militao has been inconsistent and shit?
Well, I think it's just comes from a people not really understanding what Militao's role is. Like
Yeah,
honestly,
I
uh,
agree. Yeah,
so like
I
let's
agree.
let's put it this way, right? I don't know. Like this is a comparison. I don't know if many people will get, but like in or actually let me make a footy reference because I think more people will understand that. So when Vinny is one on one with the defender and he makes a dribble move, is the expectation that he's going to win? No, but like he's one on one and he has to try something to break down the defense.
Yep, yep,
Militao on the other end, our entire team basically spends the is in the other team's box, and he will be in a one on two, 1v1 situation the entire game. So
yep,
if you put Maldini one on one in a completely wide open system for like 90 minutes a match, I'm guaranteeing you even Maldini will make mistakes because it's impossible. Anyone playing against world class attackers like a Lewandowski, like even like mid table attackers, if you give them enough chances one on one, they're eventually going to win. So I don't
yep,
agree with this
yep.
entire thing that Militao is a inconsistent defender. In fact, I think compared to other defenders who play one on one that much in this aggressive of a system, he's probably the best in the world. Like he's right up there.
Yep.
So yeah, that's my
Oh,
thoughts
I,
on it.
I think he is the best in the world, actually.
Yeah, as a
Hot take or
sweeper,
no? Yep.
who else is better as a sweeper? Like who would you rather have? I mean, I think
I don't know, man.
Van Dyke I think is up there. Like I'll give him
Yep,
that.
Van Dijk,
Um,
sure.
but like who else?
Also, uh, uh, Van Dijk, as a sweeper. Marquinhos, I don't think he's a sweeper, but I mean, he's also pretty good one-on-one defender. Or well, no, not so much one-on-one, but he's a good defender. You know who used to be a very good sweeper? Koulibaly, when he was at
Yeah,
Napoli, like his prime years. Um,
I think
who
Varane was
else?
very
Who
good
else?
for a while. I thought
Varane, yeah,
at his
true.
peak. But yeah, basically the point is Militao's as good as like anyone in that role, right? And you can't. Also, the other thing about our center halves that I hate people hate on is the mistakes they make on ball because like that's not their job. That's not their role on the team, and they have to play on ball so often.
Yep.
And I think our fan base is kind of spoiled watching Ramos for like the like whatever
Yeah,
5 years where he was just perfect on
dude,
ball. I mean, yeah,
dude, and Ramos also made a lot of mistakes, and he was never called inconsistent. So I don't know, man. I think some people like I they don't understand that the other team plays too. For example, the Lamela goal today. You're gonna, I didn't like I said I didn't read match talk or anything today, but I'm sure someone started to blame like Alaba Militao. And the reality of the situation is that was a fucking amazing pass by a player that you wouldn't expect to make that pass, and that was a very good definition. And that's it. Don't
yeah,
find responsibles or anything. The other team plays too, and they can make shit happen as well. So that's all I gotta say.
yeah, I agree. I think, and this is a bit of a pessimistic take on it, but like I just think about our time with like my time as a Real Madrid fan, and Ramos, Carvajal, even going back Hierro, like these guys all made mistakes. But one thing I got to call out is like I feel like only like the players with the darker skin get called out for that shit consistently, man.
Oh
Like
yeah, 100%.
it's
Yep.
fucked up, bro. Like Mondi will make two mistakes in a game. Carvajal will make like five, and then everyone will just shit on Mondi for like the post game, bro. If his name was like
Yep.
I don't fucking know Marcos Mondi, and he fucking came through Castilla, people would be just like jerking him off after every game. Like I'm guaranteeing you.
And saying he's the best left back in the world and shit. Yeah, I agree. I agree.
It's I think it's just like I it might not even be like racism like I think it is, but like the other thing is people have this in our fan base have this huge fetish for Spanish players, bro. Like they
Yeah,
just
I don't know why. Yeah, I don't know why. I
like
really
there was
don't.
this entire point where like people are like, this is Real Madrid. We don't have anyone in the Spain national team. Blah 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 blah. I'm like, Barcelona isn't winning anything, bro. Like, why is that what your gauge of success is? But
Also, Real Madrid is like the biggest international club in the world, so I know like their Spanish team, they play in La Liga and shit, and I hate this discourse like, yeah, we're Real Madrid fans, we're La Liga fans as well. Dude, I don't fucking give a shit about any other Liga team other than Real Madrid. And yeah, I say it as a Spanish team, but Real Madrid is the biggest international team in the world, so if there's no good Spanish players, like I could give less of a fuck, to be honest.
yeah, yeah, I totally agree. I think moving on a little bit, that I think that's pretty much everything I had there. Oh, two other things, and just we can quickly cover those first. What did you make of Lunin's run of performances? Like, what are your takeaways on him as a keeper after seeing him for like an extended stretch here?
Um, I've always liked him as a keeper. I think he kind of he's very secure. He doesn't make like risky moves. He has good reflexes. He's decent with his feet. I think he's a great backup. Like if I was him, I would definitely be on search to go to another team and be the starting goalkeeper because I think he's that good. He can be like one of the, in my opinion, he can potentially be one of the top 10 keepers of the world if he has like more minutes on another like mid high table team like in the Premier League or Serie A or some shit. I think he has a lot of potential. He's still young and he's pretty good as a backup. I think we can have a better backup than him at this moment.
Yeah, I totally agree. And then the next thing is Hazard gonna ever play for us again? I mean, this guy
No.
is just riding the fucking bench, man. What do you
and
think? There's
and
any like when does he play again? I mean, one thing I was considering is with Benzema's injury, maybe he can play again versus Celtic. He had some success
yeah,
against them. What are your thoughts?
I don't um yeah, this is a tough topic for me because I love him as a player when he was at Chelsea. I watch him almost every game. I have his jersey when he was at Chelsea. I was pretty excited when we signed him. And when he started to play like decent on that Celtic game and he scored like a pretty pumped, I thought he was gonna make a little comeback, but I don't see it happening for two reasons. Asensio is balling, and when Lucas comes in, he also contributes. So I don't see a scenario in which he plays other than that, like on the Champions League where there's two meaningless games. I think he's gonna play like minutes on those two games, but on an important Liga game, like, and every Liga game is important. Other than the game being like 5-0 or some shit, I see him getting minutes. But other than that, I don't think we're gonna see him anymore playing on La Liga, to be honest. And I don't know, maybe if he has a decent World Cup, I see him leaving on the January transfer window 100%.
Yeah, I I feel like the toughest obstacle for him at this point is like just getting him his salary figured out. Like if we're going to move him, it's going to take a team like with a huge need for him, and then also like a
Yeah.
team that can pay his wages. I mean, maybe we can do a Bale type thing where his last year on his contract, last year and a half now that's approaching, we can just be like, we'll pay half of it, you guys pay half. But like, I don't even know if he can play for many top teams at this point, like or teams that can
Yeah.
afford like even half of his salary. Half of his salary is like I think 12 million net euros a year.
Yep.
So like, how
Yep.
many teams can really afford that for like a guy who's most likely going to be on their bench? I don't think there's many. So yeah, we'll
Yeah, it
see.
sucks.
I don't know. I think he'll just be here for the next year and a half, and then summer of what would it be, 24?
I mean, I would
He'll
love
leave.
if he has like a decent World Cup and he starts to get minutes here, but I don't see it happening. Like, I think it's impossible like today because dude, he got wiped from the team. He's not playing at all.
Yeah, man. I mean, I think the funniest shit is that his so like after the games, this is kind of fucked up, but like the players' kids like play, right? And his kids play with like
Yeah,
Modric and Kroos's kids. So like
yeah.
in theory, I think his kids have been on the burnabout pitch for
Yeah.
longer than he has this year. That's kind of fucked
Yeah,
up, but it's
I
true.
knew you were going there. Yeah, I agree.
Oh
Oh,
man.
poor guy, man. That sucks because he's a very good player.
Yeah, yeah, I really do hope like I mean it sucks for Real Madrid like as a whole. We spent a lot on him, it didn't really work out, but I do hope that
Yeah.
like 10, 15 years from now, people remember him for like the great player he was for like 10 years at Chelsea, you know? Like he was such a
Yeah,
good
and I mean,
footballer.
yeah, and I mean, he won a Champions League here, and been a Real Madrid fan his whole life. Like, dude, you won a Champions League with Real Madrid. Like, I know you wanted to play more. You got very unlucky with the injuries, but that was his dream, and he fucking fulfilled it. Not in the way he wanted, but still, that has to count in a way.
Exactly. I mean, like, and it goes to show, I think also like I wasn't like a super big Bale hater, but like the Bale hate was more from him, his like antics rather than his level.
Yep,
Because like Hazard
yep,
has done less than Bale has at the club, but like most fans don't have a huge problem with him, like
yep.
because he's a good teammate,
100%.
because he's always there. You know, he celebrates for his teammates. He helps out. He helps mentor. He's, you know, Vinny and Rodrigo say all the time that like he helps them a lot mentoring wise and whatnot. So I think yeah, whatever. Like it's a failed transfer, but like I'm not super pressed about him being in the team or not. Um,
Yeah, me neither.
I think like yeah, that's pretty much the main footy topics we had. But since we have Jorge on the podcast this week, I think the other thing I wanted to cover was the Warriors and your entire thoughts on Draymond Green and everything that's gone on.
Ah, shit. Okay, let's talk about the Warriors first. I think my expectations are conference finals because the West is tough this year. I think the West ranks right now are Warriors first, Clippers second, and third probably the Nuggets. And probably you can put in fourth Memphis, and the rest of I think 5 and 6 could be. I see the Wolves being 5 or 6 seed in the West, but I don't know about the three remaining seeds. So it's the West is gonna be tough, man. It's pretty even, I think.
Yeah,
And I think it's if the young guys like the bench guys from the Warriors had more experience, I think they win it all. But yesterday's game, which I think was a fluke because Warriors almost come back and tie the game. Um, Moody, Poole, Wiseman was decent, but Kaminga was kind of like not bad, but hella mid, like Poole and Moody. So when these young guys get more minutes and they still feel more confident, I think the Warriors are gonna be a fucking problem. I mean, they already are because Steph is a fucking god. But when those guys, I mean, Poole has confidence, yeah, but Moody, Wiseman, and Kuminga are gonna be crazy if they solidate themselves on the team and start to get more minutes on important phases of the game. How about what do you think? How do you see the West this year?
yeah. I think I agree with you. I think the Warriors like I have them as favorites. Like so, technically, I think the expectation should be finals appearance, but it really is like very very close. I mean, if you think about like if let's suppose I don't know Clay sprains his ankle, right, and he's not at 100%, and you're playing Memphis in a 7 game series, that's a tough win, you know? Like it really just comes down to a lot of injury luck, and like all of these teams
Yeah.
are like very, very close. So yeah, I think any of the top 4, 5 teams in the West, with like some luck, can probably make it to the finals. But yeah, I think the Warriors are probably favorites. Um,
How
and
do you see the Wolves?
I think the Wolves this year, it's going to be more of like a figuring out type of season.
Hmm?
And on paper, I think we're like honestly like and this is a bit of a hot take, but I do think like we're the most talented team in the West because like I don't think any other team has like three top 20, top 25 level players. But the difference between us and these other teams is I think really in like composure. Like Cat has
Yep.
tendencies to be really, really uncomposed. Like he's one of the least composed players in the entire NBA, basically.
Yep.
Like and come playoffs time, that's very important. D'Lo, same thing against the Grizzlies. He was so bad,
Oh,
right? Like I
bad.
think Anthony Edwards and Gobert are like more composed players in general, and that's why I
Yeah.
think the floor is decently high. But like that's why I just don't see us winning the West like this year. Maybe next year after some more experience, but like it'll be tough. Only as a Wolves fan, like for people who don't have context, like we've been one of the worst teams in the entire league for my entire lifetime, basically, like
Yep.
since I was like 7 or 8. So just making
Yep.
the playoffs is like a win for us. So
Yeah,
and
I think you guys can make it to the secure playoff spots like 6, 5. I think that's realistic to be honest.
yeah, I think that's pretty
Because
realistic
the
target.
Lakers fucking suck.
Yeah, let's talk about we talked about Romalmo for a bit. Let's talk about Lamalmo for a second. Dude, they look really dire,
Shit.
man. Like I was watching the game against the Clippers where they lost, and they were only down 5 points, like down the stretch, but it felt like it was like 20 because they straight up just can't score the ball at the end of the game because they have
Dude,
no
their
shooters and the entire
spacing
other team's in the
is
paint.
fucking awful.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
spacing is terrible. They don't have shooters. It's crazy.
I mean, who's their best shooter? Like Patrick Beverly, bro? Like that's just horrible.
Yeah, she is. Yeah. Fucking, what's his name? The guy from that was with Spurs, Lonnie Walker.
Yeah, Lonnie
He's
Walker.
probably their best shooter. And that's Austin Reeves. Like, dude, that's fucking garbage. Holy shit.
Yeah, and also at this point in LeBron's career, he just isn't going to be able to give you like max defensive effort for like, 40 minutes a night. So I'm worried about the end of his career. I'm like a huge LeBron fan going up, but like I think
Yep.
he's pretty much done winning championships because of this entire Lakers situation.
Yeah,
Um,
I
but
agree.
but yeah, I think we're almost done here. We had one question come in from Frosty, so just moving on to the Q&A.
Okay.
Frosty asks, if you could have one part of your body at its physical peak, what part would it be and why?
My dick. And
Yeah,
you know why?
it's a pretty easy answer, Frosty. You gotta give
Yep.
us some better stuff than that, man.
My
Like
ass.
the, but thanks for your question. I do appreciate Frosty. The one nice thing is like Frosty's been asking questions every episode, bro. Like this dude's
Guys,
the goat.
Frosty, I appreciate you, man. You're cool.
Um, but yeah, I think that's everything. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. Thanks again to
Hey,
Jorge for stepping in here, man.
oh,
Like,
we're not done. We're
uh,
not done. There's one thing
oh
left.
yeah, there is one thing left. Go ahead, Jorge. Take the floor.
Okay. Look, guys. 2 years ago, 1 year ago, I don't remember. I think it was 2 years ago. We had a Rocket League tournament. My team was Hussein, me, and some other guy that was really good, and he bailed out last minute. We asked, who wants to play with us? And Rod said, me. We were like, okay, that's cool, Rod. We're gonna play with you. And he was like, I suck. It's okay, man. It's all about communication. Open your mic. And he was like, nah, I don't want to talk. We're like, fuck, okay, let's figure it out. We were playing, man, and well, Rod was shit, and he was fucking up. And I started screaming, Rod, open your mic, man, open your mic. And all of a sudden, you hear, I'm sorry, guys. And we're like, what the fuck was that shit? And who's like, yo, what the fuck was that? Was it you? No, was it you? No, man, who was it? We never hear another word. Okay, that was the first moment. The second moment, I was just minding my business, chilling in my house, and all of a sudden, I get a DM. It was from Rod, and sometimes Rod DMs me to like ask questions about, yo, where's the word game's gonna be on TV and shit. But this question was very peculiar. He said, "Hey man," I was like, "Hey, what's up, man? I got a question." I was like, "Oh yeah, sure, tell me. Do you think salami is spicy?" I was like, "What the fuck is this shit, man? What is this motherfucking talking about?" And I keep I kept that with me for too long. And one day I was like, the server needs to know. And that's when I typed, "Guys, Rod is a girl." And that's all I gotta say, man. Gotta beat the allegations. Gotta come up, talk, and beat the allegations because, I mean, it's there, man. It happened. There's evidence. So that's all I gotta say about it.
Yeah, we've so actually, I mean, I wasn't supposed to disclose this, but Trivela, our sources can confirm that Steezy has been sent on a mission to meet Rod this weekend. So he's gonna verify Rod versus Roderta for the once and for all, and we'll finally see what the truth is here. But yeah, I think I'm with Jorge on this one. I feel like that's some pretty compelling evidence. I mean, if Rod wants to or Roderta wants to clear their name, they can always come on Trivela Hour and we can do a segment on it and have a nice little debate between Jorge and Roderta on
Up, up.
what's actually going on. Um,
With your real boys,
but like
Roderta.
this is why we have Jorge on the cast. You know, like this is some peak journalism from Jorge, some investigative journalism. Um, but
Oh shit.
but yeah, Jorge, thanks for coming on, man. Kind of saved the day
Oh man,
this
thank
week
you for having me.
because we were about to it was about to be me talking for like 10 minutes just to have something out, but Jorge kind of
Uh-huh.
saved the day there. So yeah, man, would love to have you on again sometime. That was fun.
Anytime you want.
For
Anytime you
sure.
want. Thank you for having me. It was fun.
For sure, for sure. All right, thanks everyone for watching. Like the video. You guys have been kind of fucking being shit at that recently. So, like the video, and if you have any questions, leave them in the comment section. Thanks. Have a good week.
Yeah. Bye.